Hey guys, welcome to Craze. So today I will be showing you how to change the engine oil and oil filter of a motorcycle. And the bike which I'll be working on today is a Tvs Apache Rtr 160. This procedure is pretty similar for many bikes out in the Indian market, and it's the exact same for the Tvs Apache Rtr 180. So I follow a 4-step procedure in order to change the engine oil and the oil filter of your motorcycle. Step 1 is to drain the existing engine oil in your motorcycle. Step 2 is to take out the old oil filter of your motorcycle, and step 3 is to replace it with a new oil filter, and step 4 is to top up with a new engine oil. So there are few items and tools which you require in order to change the engine oil and oil filter of your motorbike. First and foremost, the engine oil of your bike, a genuine oil filter, WD-40 if required, an 8mm spanner or an 8mm T-spanner, a 17mm spanner or a 17mm long bar wrench, a drain pan, a pair of gloves, hammer if required, a flattened screwdriver, plier, tissue paper or a cotton cloth. So let's get started. The first step is to drain the existing engine oil which is present in your bike. In bikes in the Indian market, the drain bolt is located on this side of the engine or the other side of the engine or underneath the engine. In my case, it's located underneath the engine. As you guys can see there, the drain bolt is right there. In order to lose the drain bolt, you need a 17mm long bar wrench or a 17mm spanner or a wrench. I'm using the long bar wrench as it gives me more leverage in order to loosen the bolt. So before starting, let's wear gloves so that we don't burn our fingers or hand, as sometimes the engine oil might be pretty hot while draining. So let's drain the existing engine oil which is present in the motorbike. Now place your drain pan right under the engine oil bolt, align it properly so that the engine oil falls directly into the drain pan and does not spill over the floor and make a mess. Now take a 70mm bar wrench or a 70mm spanner or a normal wrench in order to loosen the drain bolt of your motorbike. And as I mentioned, WD-40 in the items required in order to change the engine oil and oil filter of your motorcycle. WD-40 is one of the good penetrating fluid, though they haven't mentioned it in here. I have experienced it's one of the best penetrating fluid, and you just spray 2-3 sprays under the engine oil drain bolt so that it penetrates inside and loosens the bolt. If that doesn't work, take a hammer and hammer the bolt thrice in order to loosen the bolt, as a vibration helps you to loosen the bolt. And once you did that, all you got to do is to take your 7mm spanner, align the drain pan and loosen the bolt. I have already loosened it a bit so that it makes easier for me to do the job. Now once I remove that, all you got to do is drain the engine oil. So as you guys see, I drained the engine oil and still it created a mess all over my floor. Now wait until the last bit of your engine oil is being drained, and once it's done, we can go to the next procedure. So wait until the last bit of your engine oil falls inside the drain pan. As you guys can see, the engine oil which was present in my bike was in a pretty bad condition, as the color of the engine oil is pretty bad. And once all the engine oil is drained, just give a small wiggle to your bike so that if there's any existing engine oil present in your bike, it will come out. And I forgot to mention you guys that please place the bike on your center stand or the main stand so that it'll be easier to work and all the engine oil comes out. And some bikes like the Duke 200 or the NS 200 don't have a center stand, and all you guys have to do is to use a paddock stand in order to support the bike and act like a center stand for the bike and drain the engine oil. So once you finish training, let's go to the next procedure. So now let's move to the next procedure, that is to change the old engine oil filter and replace it with a new one. Now my engine oil filter compartment is located right next to my engine oil dipstick, and in most of the bike it's located there. There are 3 bolts in order to loosen the engine oil filter compartment, and in order to do that you need an 8mm T-spanner or a 8mm spanner or a wrench in order to do the job. Sometimes even these bolts are pretty difficult to open, so you can use WD-40 or an hammer just few shots on the bolt which might lose it because of the vibration. Let's get started. First, loosen the bolts. Do not completely remove the bolts so that might cause a fuss for you later on. Sometimes some bolts are pretty difficult to lose, but once you have a T-spanner, I'm sure it's easy. As I told you guys, you can see a lot of engine oil is being spilled on my thing, so all you got to do is take the cloth and wipe this place so that nothing goes wrong. Now all you got to do is to completely remove the compartment and loosen the bolts. Remove the bolts, and there is your engine oil filter. Now the next procedure is to take out the old engine oil filter and replace it with a new one. For that, I'm using a flat-end screwdriver which will help me to remove the old engine oil filter, and it's that easy. And if there's any oil leakage, just clean over the place, as I'm sure there will be a lot of oil in the engine oil filter compartment. Now as you guys can see, my engine oil filter is not in such a bad condition, but every time I change my engine oil, I also change the engine oil filter. Now the step is to replace it with a new engine oil filter. Now here I have my new engine oil filter. This is a genuine part and it's from TVS, and I don't recommend any aftermarket engine oil filters for your motorcycle. Now let's crack open this, take out the new engine oil filter, and keep both the old engine oil filter and new engine oil filter aside to make sure they are the exact same and fit it on. So before fitting on the new engine oil filter, please make sure that you clean the engine oil filter compartment properly. So I take my cloth in order to clean the engine oil filter compartment, clean even the sides, the inside part, everything. Now take a new engine oil filter and place it in the same way. As you guys saw, the engine oil, this side of the engine oil filter goes inside and the other side faces the outside, that's towards you. Now place the new engine oil filter and make sure it's placed correctly. Once you guys did that, place your bolts and tighten them.
And on we'll go.
Make sure it's tight and in its place. Do not over tight it or make it loose as well. Now clean off any excess engine oil which has been spilled all over your bike. So in my case it's right here. And I forgot to tell guys, please place a drain pan while removing even the engine oil filter compartment, as I forgot to place, and you can see the mess which took place on my floor. So folks, we have come to the last step of our procedure, that is to top up with a new engine oil to your engine. And before doing this procedure, make sure you tighten the drain bolt which we had loosened in order to get the old engine oil which was there in the bike. Now the engine oil which I'm using is a Motul 10W30 Techno synthetic oil, and make sure you maintain the same viscosity rate which is mentioned by the company. In my case it was 10W30, and if you guys don't know where the viscosity rate will be mentioned, take out your manual book, go to the engine oil section, and it'll be mentioned there. And sometimes even your local auto parts store guys also have the viscosity rate chart, and my case is 10W30. So let's get started. So folks, I finished tightening my drain bolt which is located underneath of my motorcycle, and make sure it's tight to the most so that there's no engine oil leakage which will take place later on after we topping up with the new engine oil. Now all you guys need to is to take out your dipstick and top up with the new engine oil. In my case, I have to top up with a 1000 ml. That's nothing but 1 liter of engine oil. It's mentioned in your manual book, and in my case it's even mentioned in the engine oil in the engine compartment. So now let's open the dipstick. Take out your dipstick, clean it, make sure it's clean, place it in a safe place. Now take your engine oil, open it and throw this compartment. So now let's pour. All you got to do is to align it properly, make sure you don't spill any engine oil, and pour all the 1 liter of engine oil in a Tvs Apache, or as recommended by your company. In my case it's 1 liter or 1000 ml.
See the horizon, turn us to thousands.
I guess it's done. Once you finish doing that, take your dipstick, clean it once more to make sure that there's no dust or anything on the dipstick. Now place your dipstick in and just screw it in. And after doing all this, please do check your engine oil drain bolt to make sure that there's no leakage in your motorcycle. And it's as simple as this guys, changing the engine oil and oil filter of your motorcycle. And by doing this you save couple of rupees by not paying the labor charges to your mechanic or the service center, and you also get a satisfaction of changing your engine oil and oil filter with your own hands, and a bike enthusiast or a automotive enthusiast will understand this. So once you're done this, make sure there's no leakage, and all you guys got to do is start the bike and just leave it idling for 2 minutes so that all the engine oil goes to the required parts of the engine where the engine oil should go. And the engine oil which I used is the 5100, the techno-synthetic motor engine oil. And the reason I use this is because I didn't want to use a full synthetic engine oil as a 160cc, and I don't go to high revs usually, and it's just for city rides, so I don't think so techno-synthetic is required for my case. And if you guys want to know how to choose a correct viscosity rate and whether to choose a mineral or a techno-synthetic or a pure synthetic oil, I will be doing a video on that and publishing it pretty soon. So that's all, and let's start the bike. Now just leave it in an idling position and give few revs. So folks, I left my bike idling for around 2 to 3 minutes to make sure that the engine oil has reached all the parts of the engine. And the mistake which many people do is they don't dispose the old engine oil in a proper manner, or even the engine oil filter in case. It's very important to dispose the old engine oil as it's harmful for animals, and if a cow or a dog which is staying in your street licks it or takes it in, it will lead to its death sometimes. So it's very important to dispose this. Make sure you have a separate dustbin or a can where you pour out all the engine oil and throw it out or dispose it in a safe place where no animals or will lick it or take it in. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and if you have any queries, just comment down in the comment section and I'll make sure I'll reply to your queries.